All right. Sorry if you saw the beginning of that yawn. You already know what it is. This is Garrett Sims, and this is Guaranteed News on March 27th, 2024. We're going to do the same thing we always do. We're going to do two songs, and then we're going to get right into the show. We have a good show for you guys today. Let's get to these two songs. Now let's start the stream officially. Let's go. What do I want to do today? Let's go.
I just bought me some twist, I feel better. We ain't doing no back and forth shit with you. Too old for that. Yeah, she thinks she got a wise man. I don't think buddy too clever. I just bought me some twist, I feel better. Put on Prada and dance with the devil. Yeah, she never been in the VVT. She never called when you be in the C. But I bet she link when that shit come to me. I'm back, baby, where the love? Yeah, yeah. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. Really, I'm slamming as ever. Really, I'm slamming as I hold my chips like poker. I know it's over as soon as I'm sober. Yeah, gang called me, told me bring a soda. So you know I brought a soda. Try to be front of the move. I'm trying to get this cash and reach my quota. I don't even play like that. Little bitch, you sober. 252 getting high in the stool. Pop got dark, 3 in the 2. Told the bitch that I ain't Bruce Wayne. All about me, I ain't saving you. These niggas talking, don't think that I hear it. Let it start cause you got hoe in the spirit. Treat that bitch like a BOA. Load her up, then go and clear it. Yeah, she think she reigns supreme. She ain't even make the team. Yeah, she playing with Maybelline. My look up was Maybelline. Yeah, we in the SVR. I'm through with the SRT. I'm through with the highs and buys. She wanna come and go, but I wanna fucking leave. She don't understand, I'm only a man, can only do what I can. Yeah, this shit getting hot, man, okay, I get it, but why you ain't at you a fan? I bet your mama ain't know she raised the hoe, and I'm just saying. Yeah, I let niggas get too hype, can't let that happen again. Yeah, she thinks she got a wise man, I don't think buddy's too clever. I just pour me some tricks, I feel better. Put on Prada and dance with the devil. Yeah, she never been in the VVT. She never called when you be in the C, but I bet she link when that shit come to me. I'm back, baby, where the love? Yeah, yeah. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. Really, I'm slamming as ever. Really, I'm slamming as ever. I hold my chips like vodka.
All right, that was Where the Love by K-Ferg 500. You know we play it for the second song. I like this for the second song. I don't see this changing for a while.
Tired of telling niggas the same thing over and over. And my bitch 3 times, but niggas don't fucking listen.
Last song, and then we're getting into the show.
If we motherfucking losing, man. Cream team, FTL game, man. You know how we rockin', man. Boy, you smoking on that same shit that got Chris Rock. Like cocaine with a drum, this bitch sound like Kid Rock. Make these niggas go and copy this, them niggas Xerox. I could move, we still on his ass, we got him gridlocked. One bitch, I ain't picky. Fuck me till I'm dizzy. My bitch catch another op, she gon' get some new Rickies. RIP my young boy, that shit still got me pissy. My nephew won't even play my ops, he said it sound too kitty. Bitch want me to fuck with her, but she be acting ditzy. He thought it was clean, I'm still serving cut no kizzy. Full of looking clean as hell, can't forget that blicky. Chop it shoot like Jimmy, I ain't even had no simi. Every beat shit automatic, supercharged like Hemi. Told my little bitch walkie only, she can keep that Henny. Virgo, he got Trump money, gave myself a stimmy. Told my bitch don't want hibachi, she can keep the bennies. Get them chopped like sushi rolls, play them hoes like movie roles. That boy, he got baby money, bankroll like a 2-year-old. This bitch know she fine as hell, came through built like Ruby Rose. 100K times 10, nigga, I'm gon' need a few of those. Partner red, it look like a bottle of some hot sauce. All these sticks, thought that we was finna go to Top Golf. Treat him like a thought shirt, get that nigga cropped off. He said he gon' touch me, see how ain't shit popped off. LOL, hi, I know folks don't like me. Pussing off these pussy niggas really do excite me. Shawty know I'm rude as hell, but somehow she still like me. She know I ain't pussy and ain't that nigga like me.
Obviously, you can see I'm fucking with the lighting. Obviously, you can see I'm trying to fuck with my lighting. That is like, bro, all the equipment and shit you need to do this shit. I'm using my fucking iPhone as a light because we got to get it however we can. I'm about to get a real light though, because this lighting shit is. Yeah, I can't take too much more of this. Welcome to Guarantee News. As usual, I'm your host, Garrett Sims. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll be seeing me live. It is our Wednesday night stream, and we got a lot of news for you today. The news is heavy, which is crazy because I was just talking about how, like I said a couple streams ago, I wanted to add more news, and as soon as I said that, maybe because I'm looking for it, but as soon as I said that, the news has just been crazy for like the last, really since all week. Since I last streamed. So again, I don't like intros. We're gonna get right to it. Guarantee news every time. You know, the things I like to focus on are sports news, hard news, pause no diddy as I like to say, hard news as I like to call it, sports news, hard news, entertainment news, and movie and TV show news. All right, so I think I have at least one of each story for the first time since I started back streaming again. So we have a really good episode today. I'm going to talk about a lot of stories, and I'm going to try to cover them quicker. So let's see how this goes. For our first story of the day, I want to talk about the key. Well, I want to make sure I get this name right. The Baltimore Key, the Key Bridge is what they're calling it, but the collapse of the Baltimore Key Bridge on early, you can say Tuesday night or early Tuesday morning, there was a cargo ship that crashed into a bridge in Baltimore, Maryland, and ever since it's happened, it has been just the biggest thing in the news so far. So I'm going to go into a little bit of just what happened, some of the updates, and then just a quick thought of what I think about the whole thing. So first, I want to just get into basically covering what happened. So it looks like I feel like before I even say anything, I feel like anyone that you guys all have seen that this big ass cargo ship hit this bridge. I'm not going to play the video because I just don't feel like there's a need to. The first thing I thought is, how did this happen? How did the ship lose power? Because it looks like it hit the bridge. The cargo ship hit the bridge because of a loss of power. And I was wondering, is this a personnel malfunction where somebody did something wrong, or was it something else? As of now, it looks like it was because of a electrical failure that caused the bridge to bridge to collapse. But I want to just go over how it happened. How did it happen? I want to get into like the how and a little bit of the what. And there's so much conversation about this right now that I don't want to get into just a bunch of it. So I want to find a good article. This is Associated Press. I like them. Ben Finley. So, all right, and let's see. Usually when they have the links, okay. Baltimore Bridge collapses after powerless cargo ships ram into support column. 6 presumed dead. I can say right off the bat that there has been an update where those 6 people, they are presumed dead. They were construction workers who were working on filling potholes on the bridge when the crash happened. So first off, I want to just say rest in peace to all of their families, but they are presumed to be dead. And I believe there was just an update that 2 of those 6 men that were working on the bridge, their bodies were found. So and another update with that is with the search efforts for the people, I think they're now moving it to, like, before it was like they were calling it like a search effort, like trying to find them, and now I think they're moving to just like, you know, searching through the debris and everything like that. And I think they've canceled the search effort. So first off, yeah, to the people who are on that bridge working when it happened, that's an unimaginable situation, and rest in peace to them, and just prayers to their families. So let's just get into this article a little bit just to say what happened. So a cargo ship lost power and rammed into a major bridge in Baltimore early Tuesday, destroying the span in a matter of seconds and plunging it into the river in a terrifying collapse that could disrupt a vital shipping port for months. And something with this, there's been a lot of talk about how important that shipping port is, and the money that could be lost from that. I want to just say I feel like it should be more of the focus on the families that are lost, and just how did this happen, and making sure something like this isn't able to happen again, more so than the money. But moving on, the ship's crew issued a mayday call moments before the crash took down the Francis Scott Key Bridge, enabling authorities to limit vehicle traffic on the span, Maryland's governor said. As the vessel neared the bridge, puffs of black smoke could be seen as the lights flickered on and off. It struck one of the bridge supports, causing the structure to collapse like a toy, and a section of the span came to rest on the blow. Excuse me. And again, I'm not going to show the video, but I mean, watching it is kind of insane. I watched it just to try to get an idea of how this happened. It was, yeah, okay. And I actually like this article. So, like, the Dally cargo ship, that was the name of the cargo ship that hits the bridge. The Dally cargo ship departs Port of Baltimore around 12:45 a.m. The ship strikes the bridge at 1:30 a.m. The Francis Scott Key Bridge. Yeah. It happened in the middle of the night, long before the busy morning commute on the bridge that stretches 1.6 miles. The 6 missing people were part of a construction crew filling potholes on the bridge, said Paul Wheatyfield, the state's transportation secretary. So I think I just gave like a good example or a good idea of what happened. You know, the Baltimore bridge collapsed. There are 6 people that are now dead. And rest in peace to their families, and they have stopped the search for those people on that bridge. And it looks like, again, and I want to pay attention to this part of the article, because this is interesting to the next point that I'm about to bring in. The ship's crew issued a mayday call moments, I think that word is important, moments before the crash took down the Francis Scott Key Bridge. So, and I said I was going to talk about the how like 10 minutes ago, but I really just talked about the what. Now I want to talk about the how. How did the Dally ship crash into the Francis Scott Key Bridge? How did the Dally ship crash into the Scott Key Bridge? Okay, what caused the Dally? And I just want to say I haven't even looked at this article yet, but before I go into it a lot, I just want to make the point of where I'm going with this and then go into the research. So the reports of everything that's gone on with this ship and how it's happened, and them explaining things in the last like 12 hours of all the updates, and them going into like how this lighting is fucking with me, but okay, who cares? But how this ship crashed, the reporting has been kind of interesting to me, and it's bothered me a little bit for one reason, because when it first happened and they first broke this, I vividly remember reading an article saying they knew quite a bit before the ship, like they knew, and by they I mean the crew on the cargo ship, they knew quite a bit beforehand that the ship was going to crash, or not it was going to crash, but that the ship had lost power. And let me go back and let me look at my notes. Yeah, that they knew beforehand that the ship would lose power, which is why they were able to send warnings to keep people off the bridge, and why there wasn't more casualties and more traffic on the bridge at the time that it's hitting. But now, like when I look at all the articles I did to research for like pre-production, and I'm looking at the news, it just says the ship lost power just before it hit the bridge. So my question is, was the losing power of the ship this sudden thing that happened, like as that article we saw? Again, and this is why I wanted to say that's important, you know, moments, where's that word? Was this something that happened moments before the crash took down the Francis Bridge? But the crew issued a mayday call, which enabled authorities to limit vehicle traffic. How long is moments? Like that word moments, for me, I want to stick with it, because again, when I first read about this happening, like on Tuesday morning when I woke up, like Tuesday during the day, what I remember the original research being was that they knew like 20 to 30 minutes before. Now everything is saying moments, and for a little bit it was like saying like it happened. I was reading some things or seeing things that it was like almost like sudden, like they had no control, and as the ship was approaching the bridge, they lost power and everything else. My question is, if it's sudden or if they knew moments before, again, how did they if it happened moments, like if the power outage of the ship happened moments before it hit the bridge, how long were these moments for them to be able to get traffic outside of the bridge and close it and make sure that there is going to be like not too many people, not too many pedestrians or drivers going on that route? And that's just a question. I'm not saying I think anything's weird or I think something's wrong, because I have no proof of that. And I want to have some integrity and not say and not say conspiracy theories if I don't know. The only thing I'm saying is I kind of remember them saying that on Tuesday, that they knew. Like, I remember what I saw like 30 minutes before that they had lost power and they weren't in control of this ship, and it's kind of fucked up, and we know we're going through this bridge. Now these articles are saying that they knew moments beforehand, and I forget the camera's there so you guys can't even see. Hold on. Like what this article said, it's saying like moments beforehand. Let's see. Moments beforehand. If it's moments beforehand, I just get the question of how were they able to make sure the bridge was empty. So around the how, I want to know how this bridge collapsed, or how this Dali ship, this cargo ship, lost its power. How long beforehand did they know that it was going to lose power? And were there any like protocols or things put into place with the ship to where if it loses powers, there is a way to stop the ship? And this is me thinking out loud. Is there a way to stop the ship, a way to direct its course somewhere elsewhere? Is there some type of policy in place that when this if one of these ships loses power, my main thing, is there a way to stop the ship? My second thing would be, is there a way to direct the ship, at least for it to be where it's not going to damage anything, like in this sense? I want to make it known now that I don't know about cargo ships. I could be asking a stupid question there. Maybe is there something where there's no anchor, there's no way to do it. So I do understand that, but that's just my questions of thinking when I see this. Now, let me get into this article. This is, what is this? A CBS News article, what caused the Dali to slam into Baltimore Francis Scott Key Bridge. And this has like some of the people that were on that ship that they couldn't find. Something like, I don't know. I don't like, there's no newsworthiness in me, or I don't think there's any reason to say the names of the people who died or to talk about them. If you want to look at that, you can. I just want to say rest in peace to them, but I don't think it's newsworthy to like focus on them. So I actually kind of wanted to say that as well. Just because it's just not a reason, and it's just adding more news to these people when there's no need to, in my opinion, for the specifics of the family. The only people who need to know are the families themselves. But yeah, so let's read through this. 6 people were on the bridge and missing, presumed dead, late Tuesday. 2 others were rescued from the water. All 8 were construction workers. I do want to say I also saw somewhere that the 2 they were rescued were not able to talk yet about the experience. So what caused the Dali to slam into the Francis Scott Key Bridge? The Dali, which was chartered by shipping giant Mazaresk and operated by Synergy Marine Group, hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge shortly after leaving the port of Baltimore. An unclassified memo issued by the CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, said the ship reported losing propulsion. Maryland Governor Wes Moore said the ship's crew reported a power issue. A spokesperson for the National Transportation Safety Board, which is investigating the crash, said the agency still needs to verify that the Dali lost power prior to striking the bridge column. So this looks like a power problem, like it lost power. How and why did it lose power? I saw something that it could be bad fuel. I saw something just the question of how did this thing lose power? What causes it? Is there a way to prevent this? And I did see somewhere that they have found the black box of that ship, where if you don't know like what a black box is, basically, I mean, I feel like everyone's heard of a black box of a plane. I would think of a ship the same way. It just has all the information on, it's basically like a autopsy of a machine, or like yeah, that's how I would explain it. But 2 U.S. officials told CBS News multiple alarms rang out on the ship, alerting pilots and crew to an issue on board. The crew ran several system tests to attempt to remedy the loss of propulsion from the motor, but the tests proved unsuccessful. At that point, the ship's pilots alerted the Maryland. See, this is what I'm saying. I need to know, like, because I don't know about ships, and let me like go in on this, bro, and make it quicker, because I want you guys to read this, because this is weird to me. Just even reporting on it normally, it's a little weird to me. Let me make sure I get all this out. Hold on. The how of this is weird to me. How did it lose power? How did they crash the ship? And how long did they lose power? It's weird to me. The crew ran several system tests to attempt to remedy the loss of propulsion Sorry, weather keeps changing. It's fucking my allergies and my asthma. Another conversation. To remedy the loss of propulsion from the motor, but the test proved unsuccessful. At that point, the ship's pilots alerted the Maryland Department of Transportation and the Maryland Transit Authority. I need to know how long it takes to run tests like that, to run tests to attempt to remedy the loss of propulsion from a motor. How long does it take to do those tests? And is it just a regular phone call from the pilots to the Maryland Department of Transportation saying then we lost power? Is this a quick 5-minute phone call? Is there a certain way you have to do this where it takes a couple minutes? Because this article from CBS News, a reputable sports source that anybody who is watching this has heard of, says they did a lot. It says they did okay, I don't even want to call it a lot because I don't want to put this in a way to make it seem like what I think is the truth. This article says that before they lost propulsion, and this is an unclassified memo issued by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, so I kind of trust them, or I trust the reporting they're giving on this at its bare minimum. So this article is saying that they lost power, had a power issue, and let's see. The alarms ran out. It sounds like they did a lot. They tested the ship to see if they could fix it. They couldn't fix it and then made a call saying that it was messed up. And then right here, it says, a crew issued a Mayday call moments before the crash. If you look at a lot of different articles with this, a lot of them are going to say moments before. This happened moments before. And I want to know, like, I feel stupid even doing this because moments is something that depending on the person, depending on the moments for everybody can be different. But, like, I'm just going to, like, what or how long is moments generally thought of? I'm just gonna Google it. A moment, sometimes called a torque, is defined. How long is a moment considered? So, since the phrase "give me a minute," and this is I'm looking this up live time. Since the phrase "give me a minute" is more commonly used, many people think that a moment equals 1 minute. However, according to Science Focus, the term as a definition of time dates back to at least the 8th century when the monk Saint Bede used it to define the period of 90 seconds. I mean, over a minute. What is the time of a moment? In medieval times, a moment was 90 seconds long. Nowadays, some claim that a moment is 1.5 seconds or just a short period of time. In the high-speed world we inhabit today, we should adopt a moment to mean the same as blink of an event. It takes about 0.03 seconds. And this is a Medium article, so Medium maybe, it's anybody can post on Medium. This is plainsponsor.com. And one thing with watching me, I'm going to always like try to be honest about where I'm getting things from. So this is just some shit I Googled right off the bat, so I can't say, but like I like 90 seconds as an idea of a moment. 90 seconds feels like a moment to me. So you're telling me you're telling me, again, I'm going to stop going over this because I want to keep the same thing, but it's just kind of interesting to me. You're telling me that in moments. So 90 seconds, I don't think a moment can be more than 3 minutes. So you're saying from 90 seconds to 3 minutes, they were able to do tests. They were able to run several system tests to attempt to remedy the loss of propulsion from the motor. And then after you saw that that the tests weren't going to work, you called the Department of Transportation in Maryland, the Maryland Transit, to alert people and make sure people aren't going on this bridge. And again, but everyone else is saying moments now. I don't know why the timing of when they lost fuel is important, but it seems to be because I'm getting different things from news outlets. So that's all I'm going to say with that. And again, I actually want to make this clear with every episode. I love journalism, and I guess I am technically a journalist, but everyone's a journalist and everyone does anything. My point is basically saying I'm just a 24-year-old sitting and talking about the news and things that are interesting and I think people need to know. I don't know if everything that I'm saying is the truth. I'm not going to ever try to claim that I'm 100% right, and I'm not going to ever claim that I'm the only person you should get your news from, at least not at this moment. Maybe one day let's talk about it, but not at this moment. So everything that I say here, I'm just asking questions. I'm just saying what I'm thinking. And a big thing about GS Studios and Guarantee News and G News, anything that I do is I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist that doesn't have facts, but I also don't want to be blind to what's going on in front of me or when things don't seem right. And I feel like I always want to tote that balance, but I don't mean to be insulting. I don't mean to induce, distrust and all those other things, because I have no proof of what I'm saying here. It just seems weird. But there's going to be information going on into this. They're going to look into it more. There's going to be more that comes out with this. The transportation people are going to Baltimore Bridge. There's going to be more information that comes out about this. They're going to do more of a search of what happened. And we'll get more facts, and I'll be interested to know more about that, how it lost power. Could it have been prevented? Was it for the fuel? Et cetera, et cetera. But I definitely will keep updates with this. And this is just a sad story. Hopefully a story that could be prevented in the future. And the only thing I want to say with this is whenever I drive over bridges, like this makes me think of like Florida, like when I would go to Florida and you drive over those bridges, usually like when I'd be going to the beach from wherever I was staying, whether it be like my aunt's house, besides the point. Those bridges would always make me nervous just looking out at that water. Like, bro, what the fuck would I do? I would think, like, I remember vividly thinking about if this bridge, like every time I go over like a big ass bridge, how this bridge appears to be, it says it's like a mile long. I would always be like, if this crashed right now, what would I do? How am I going to swim? I know I can swim. Can I get out of that? And even what's even sadder with that, like this is 50-foot deep water and it was cold as shit. Like there's really like the debris of the bridge falling down on you. Like, so even if you can swim, even if you do have the wherewithal to try to get out of the car, it's a scary situation. It's horrifying and sad. But I would definitely keep updates on what happens with this and the investigation that the Department of Transportation is doing into try to figure out how this was caused. Okay, so for our next story, let's get into the diddler. I talked about this on Monday, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, but if you've been on Twitter like for the last 28 hours, you've seen the memes. We all know about the diddler, Diddy, the freakazoid, freak monster that is and seems to be Diddy. So since I talked about this already, I'm not going to go into it a lot. I'm just going to give a little bit like of some updates that's happened since Monday with it, a little bit of some thoughts, and just keep going. So first I want to get into the picture of him talking to the police at the airport and his apparent drug mule. I'm going to find his name is what they were calling him, as a drug mule. He's a 25-year-old white guy getting caught by the cops at the airport and getting charged for drug possession. So let's look that up. Diddy drug mule. That's all I have to say with that. So there was basically and he used to play basketball apparently too. So let's look at this. Sean Diddy Combs doubles down on innocence as his alleged drug mule is in updates. So basically, like, there's this picture of Diddy talking to the cops at the airport where they stopped him. I want to mention this because the last time when I filmed on Monday, I ended off saying like there was stuff on Twitter looking like Diddy had left the country. Now I found out that's not true. Everything I'm reading now says Diddy is still in the country and he's fighting against these claims, saying that they're not true. In a statement through his lawyer, he called the raids a gross overuse of military-level force, for which there is no excuse, and he insisted he is innocent. The raids came after Diddy has faced accusations of sexual abuse from multiple alleged victims in a series of lawsuits in recent months. And also this week, a man police have described as Diddy's drug mule, Brendan Paul, was arrested by federal agents in a Miami airport while he was allegedly carrying contraband inside of his personal travel bags. So maybe Diddy was trying to leave. I remember now. They said they caught Diddy leaving for a trip. They said they caught Diddy leaving for a trip for his younger daughters. And that's why they caught this supposed drug mule with cocaine, and they called it weed favorite candy. The boy had the edibles on him in his bag. So apparently Diddy was on his way to a birthday party or a birthday trip for his daughters, and they got caught by the police. He didn't get arrested, but the guy with the drugs did. So that is with that. But pretty much, let's look at some key points they're saying. Sean Diddy Combs breaks outside the home. I mean, all right. Here are the allegations made against Sean Diddy Combs. Let's look at the allegations. Like I said on Monday, it's basically all for sex trafficking. So yeah. They're saying Diddy is a sex trafficker, that he's taking women from state to state and having sex with them, making them have sex with prostitutes, all of this. What's up, Delon? What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm not going to do it again. What's up? Yeah, he's definitely guilty. He's definitely guilty. And so, yeah, we know it's the sex accusations. We know all of this. What's the next thing I want to get to? Yes. So with everything happening with Diddy right now. Okay. Stay with me. With everything happening with Diddy right now. Diddy updates. I just want to have whatever I'm talking about be on the screen so you guys can get an idea of this. Okay. With this thing with Diddy, there is something bigger and more insidious about the music industry, about what they do to people, about how they operate, that is going to come from this that none of us know, and maybe we'll never exactly know. But everything, let me just talk about what I know. I've seen a little bit, and I should have had these pulled up before. But first off, the dude that is like sued Diddy and named all those people, I'm going to get to him, like Little John or Lil Ron. That's his name. Like, that's his actual name. But he basically said that Diddy has these all out crazy ass parties. Even Joe Budden was talking about it at the Joe Budden podcast. Like, these crazy Diddy's known for having the craziest parties in the world, and they're saying crazy ass people go to those parties, and the dude that's suing Diddy says that Diddy has thousands of hidden cameras in all of his has thousands of hidden cameras at these parties in his house. And again, I said this like 5 minutes ago, I'll say it again. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, things that I don't want to be true, that aren't true, and I don't want to spread lies, because I feel like that's not a part of integrity. But in the same token, I don't want to ignore the things that are happening around me and not try to make sense of what it is and what the deeper meaning behind it could be. So again, I feel like that's the theme of this whole episode of all the shit I'm talking about. So it is a very fine line, but I think it's not just Diddy who is going to come up in everything with this case with Diddy. There is going to be other artists, athletes, moguls. I've been seeing things where it says like political people have gone to these Diddy parties and they don't want to say, or they don't want anyone to get any footage of them at these parties doing things that they shouldn't have done. And I think that Diddy has a lot of information on a lot of people that he's not doing all this shit alone. He's not having these freak parties. And another thing is, you don't see any famous people. I don't even want to say these people's names, but you don't see these people coming in his defense, saying anything. They're quiet as shit. They're not saying a word. I already talked about Diddy has released a statement through his lawyer saying they deny all these charges. And I want to get through, the list. This Newsweek, okay. Full list of celebrities named in Diddy court hearing. So let's go back. Okay. Celebrities named in Diddy court hearing. What is this? A Newsweek article I found. All right. Again, I always like articles. This is Newsweek. I think they're pretty trustworthy, but they are on the gossip side, so do with that which you may. But this is basically saying, let's just go through it. So a number of celebrities appeared in court filings made in connection with music producer Ronnie Jones. $30 million lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs. If you guys already know, Cassie had this $30 million lawsuit as well, and she won it. This is producer Ronnie Jones. Basically, what his story is why he was working on Diddy's last album that just came out not too long ago. I think it was like Mr. Love or something like that. He said a bunch of fucked up shit happened to him. He said Carisha's he said Carisha's cousin for Young Miami, the rapper Carisha Young Miami, her cousin sexually assaulted him. Diddy was making him do a bunch of freaky stuff, touching on him. So he's suing Diddy, and in that suit, he is saying like a whole bunch of shit that he saw while he was with Diddy. Let's go into it. And this is producer Ronnie Jones. I think they call him like Lil Ron Ron or something like that. I'm not trying to be funny. Jones filed his lawsuit on February 26th. Another thing that's big to this to me is the timing of everything. These are just things that I ask myself when I read this. This came out on February 26th, and I'll get into the names he mentioned, but it wasn't that big. This guy filed this lawsuit. It didn't get all the attention. Now on Monday, Homeland Security raids Diddy's house, and now it's this lawsuit that happened a month ago becomes even bigger. I just think that was a question, just it's something that interesting to me, the timing of things. But making a number of accusations against Combs, including sexual misconduct and grooming. Jones has also accused Combs of participating in sex trafficking activity. Attorneys for Combs have strongly denied the allegations, like we said. Jones filing to the federal district court in New York lists and detail his allegations, with one section claiming that Combs' music industry associates, who are also named in the lawsuits, financially benefited from the felicitating his alleged unlawful behavior, gaining access to his powerful connections. Again, this is what I'm saying. This is gonna have implications of people who are just past Diddy or just Diddy, and I wonder if we're gonna know about it or if it's just gonna get swept under the rug and forget. And another thing I saw at the Joe Budden podcast that interested me when they were talking about it is, oh no, fuck that, I'm not giving that thing to Joe Budden. It wasn't Joe Budden that I saw this on. It was something else that I had read. It might have been a tweet. Shout out to whoever said it, but the tweet said Jeffrey Epstein. Outside of Jeffrey Epstein and that other girl that, I think she died, something happened with her in jail. Outside of them two, did anything happen with that? I mean, we talked about, there was the thing of the list coming out with Epstein. There was the thing of the list coming out with him of all the people who went to those islands, all that stuff we talked about, but nobody got arrested. No real names were talked about. And it kind of compared this to this. And again, I don't want to get in conspiracy theories, but it is interesting where Diddy seems like that type of person that is the provocateur that can get you these things. And he's getting them for rich, famous people. Are we going to hear anything about any rich, famous people? Or is it going to end at Diddy and cut off, and whatever happens with that? But this guy already named other people, and it's almost guaranteed. I mean, it's not even almost. It's guaranteed that he wasn't doing this alone. And there's other people that we love and have known and that are in big industries that were at Diddy with these freak-offs that were interested in what he was interested in. But again, yeah. So his allegations with one section claiming Combs' music industry associates. Yeah, don't need to read it again. Let's see. This is among the celebrities named in the filing are, let's see, Stevie J. If you guys that don't know who Stevie J is, this is, and again, this isn't me saying that these guys did anything or I think they did anything. I'm just reporting on what the guy that's suing them is saying. I want that to be clear as well. Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop, if you don't know who he is, he's fried. He is probably like a reality TV show legend, I would say. A redacted name of a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj, Meek Mill. We already saw that on Twitter. A Grammy Award-winning R&B singer who had trouble with law enforcement after assaulting a Bajan billionaire whose name was also redacted. Have no fucking idea who that is. Grammy Award-winning R&B singer had trouble with law enforcement and assaulted a Bajan billionaire. This is why I need a production team, because I'd have them look that up, because I don't know who that is, but I bet we could probably figure it out if I did a little bit of research, but okay. Young Miami, who is not labeled as a celebrity in the file. Prince Harry. I just have to... Are you seeing this? Prince Harry, the dude that everybody loves for separating from the royal family. He dates, I don't want to get her name wrong. I'm not interested in the royal family at all. Here it goes. What's this woman's name? Megan, Duchess of, not even gonna try to pronounce. Dated this black woman, and I don't mean to say it like this, but everybody loves him, and he was supposed to be getting out of the royal family. He's being named in lawsuits about freaking he's being named in a lawsuit. Hey, Prince Harry. This is what I'm talking about. Bishop T.D. Jakes, the jokes of all that. Cassie Ventura, as we know, Cassie, the one that got that's, she started all this off, started the ball rolling. Georgia Mass Choir. I don't know if he's talking about a whole choir or if this is one person. I have to get informed on this because if he just Georgia Mass Choir. Nah, that's wild as hell. It looks like this is a whole. Is that TD Jakes? Oh no, that's nasty. Nah. There's no way, bro. They had a whole choir. Hold on. Okay, that's not TD Jakes in this choir. Okay, Georgia Mass Choir. What is Georgia Mass? Okay, wait. The Georgia Mass Choir is an American gospel music choir from Macon, Georgia. Bro, I don't know. Georgia Mass Choir is being listed. A whole choir is being listed. And the Diddy Freakazoid case filings of the people who are involved with him with his Freakazoid stuff. The Georgia Mass Choir, I really do not want to do any misinformation. And this is kind of insane. Georgia Mass Choir, bro. Georgia. I'm doing research live and in person right now. The same industry notables named in Dexter. I mean, it's coming up. Okay. It looks like that's real. Georgia Mass Choir. Donald Lawrence, songwriter and music producer. The Clark sister. Okay, I don't know any of these last four people. But this is what I'm saying. This Diddy thing has signs of something bigger and larger and more insidious about what goes on in the music industry in it. And Diddy wasn't doing all these freakazoids alone. He wasn't getting the money for these freakazoids alone. He's not... More, I feel like, will come of this as of just not Diddy. And I'm not going to say the names, but if you've been on Twitter or any social media in the last 4 or 5 days, there's hella conspiracy theories about a lot of our favorite rappers that people are saying were right next to Diddy, and they're gonna be soon, they're soon gonna be brought to light. And I also want to say that Cat Williams interview that shook up 2024. Like Cat Williams, he said 2024 is going to be the shit, the year shit comes to light. I don't know what's happening, but Drake and Future are beefing now. Never thought I'd see it. The whole industry, it looks like it's against Drake. Metro Boomin got the Sinister Six together, and it looks like another thing on Twitter. I don't want to get into this, but Drake and Future have been beefing through music for like 2 years. We found out like all comedians in the world are fucked up, half of them from Cat Williams. This shit's happening with Diddy and all the names around it. Like 2024 in the first 3 months alone has been absolutely insane. I'm gonna keep up with this Diddy thing, but the main things I wanted to say with that is I think something bigger and more insidious and more people whose music we love or whose sport ability we love, more people are going to be named in everything that is happening with this, and it is going to be bigger than just Diddy. I don't want to get into what I think the future of it could be, what could happen to Diddy, what like if he'll get arrested, because he hasn't been arrested yet. I just want everyone to know, just look past just Diddy. It's just Diddy right now, but there's more people wrapped up in this that we know, that are household names, that have been in the industry since, I'm 24, that have probably been in the industry since before I was alive, and people who just got into the industry, but there's just some crazy things going on. That's all I want to say on that. Let's get into the next story. Do I want to go into news? I've been with news I did 2 like harsh stories. Let's get into sports. I want to get into sports. I got a couple more news stories, but I'm going to get into those later. I want to get into like a little bit of some fun stories. So let's get into sports, some betting scandals, some Ice Cube information, some NCAA talk. Let's start with John. Oh, I think I already have the article put up. Let me see. Yep. Jonte Porter. So if you haven't heard about it yet, the NBA is investigating a Raptors player. His name is Jonte Porter, for basically betting on himself or rigging, games to bet on himself. Let me describe basically what happened. Or let me see if this article does it better than I can describe it in 5 minutes. This is Sportskeeda. Found it on Google, but I read it already. They're not lying. All right. Earlier this week, the NBA announced Jontay Porter was being, and let me make it big so you guys can see it. Jontay Porter was being investigated after a situation involving bets placed on him. Since the news broke, one user on Reddit revealed the Toronto's Raptors forward has a betting Discord. And I'm going to talk about how crazy the betting Discord is. But first, I want to just get into like what he did and why I'm reading through this. I'm just going to try to describe it in the best way I can. So basically, this guy, Jontay Porter, he missed multiple games. I can describe it off a... Nah, I want to do this right because this is fried. I want to do this right. So I make sure that I'm not saying anything that's crazy. All right, the gambling investigation explained. Let's look at this shit. This is a CBS Sports article, and I like CBS Sports. All right. On Monday, ESPN reported that the NBA is investigating Toronto Raptors for Jontay Porter due to irregularities, can't say my R's good, surrounding prop bets based on his statistics. The brewing scandal is the latest in a series of sports gambling controversies that have risen lately. And yeah, everybody knows about the Shohei Ohtani betting scandal and everything with this. Basically, what this is, I'm just going to describe what he did. Basically, what he did is he made bets on all of his unders on games, like under on points, under on rebounds, under assists. He did this in 2 games. One game, he went out and said, I have an eye injury. I have to get out. And his bets hit. And then the next day, and then like a couple other games, I think he said like he had another injury, and it was basically saying like he was like, I got to go out of the game. But the thing that happened after that made people start looking at an eye is, I guess, DraftKings, like every night after betting, they look at their shit, and there was hella people that were betting like 800K, 700K on this nigga to get unders on every single stat line for him to get unders on rebounds, points, assists. So here's the thing with it that is just the obvious thing. Obviously, he is rigging it himself. Like, he's like, okay, I'm going to bet all my unders tonight, and I'm just going to go out and say, my fucking eye hurts, I got to get out. And then we just made some quick money. And another thing about this is his contract is only for like $400,000 a year, so it's not a lot in NBA money. So I could see where he feels like, or where he would feel inclined to like make some betting and try to do some shit. And basically, he's a role player. So basically, like in some games, he basically himself bet all his unders, got himself out of the game, hit that bet. Okay, boom. The thing with this that's amazing to me is how did so many people know about what's going on to make those same bets for it to be such a big deal that it's popping up on DraftKings radar? Like, why the fuck are people betting on Jontay Porter unders? What's going on? Like, that's literally how he got caught, is FanDuel or DraftKings, like, doing their research of bets and stuff. They were like, bro, this is like one of the biggest bets that happened tonight. And like, people were trying to bet like 800,000. What's going on? And then it started this investigation. And then now there's a conversation like where somebody said that this nigga, not only was he like betting on his unders or doing some shady shit, he also had a Discord where he was giving advice on like betting strategies and shit like that. And it's absolutely insane. In a post that has since gone viral on Twitter, it's revealed that Porter has a premium channel on Discord where he talks about betting. On top of giving out advice on picks and trades, users have thanked him for their winnings. Discord users have to pay $50 to access to his premium room. He really is trying to get to that bag. This is insider trading, basically, is what he's doing. Jontay Porter, because of 2 instances this season, after leaving games against the LA Clippers and Sacramento Kings early, his prop bets were some of the biggest money makers in NBA betting those nights. Adrian Woj, who, if you know Woj, if he reports it, it's what happened, has reported that people were trying to place wagers on Porter in the range of $10,000 to $20,000. So that's my fucking thing. Obviously, he's cheating, and obviously he probably told his friends or somebody, because I would assume didn't put the bet in on his own account. So he's telling people, hey, I'm getting out of this game tonight, bet all my unders. But how did so many people know about it to where it popped up on the DraftKings radar? How did the word spread so fast is my question. I just don't understand how it could, like, how this guy, one random ass player doing this, could stretch so far. One reason for that could be the stupid nigga has a Discord. Hold on, wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call him stupid. That's my bad. No disrespect. This guy, he could have been I doubt he put it on the Discord either. Like, that's my big question with this is how did so many people know for it to come up to basically catch him slipping? And another thing that's funny with this is this dude, guess who his brother is? Michael Porter Jr., the Nugget star. So it's like, dang, you that just looks bad on the whole family now. Now probably people got to look into Michael. Yep, the younger brother. He's the younger brother of Michael Porter Jr. Has played in 26 games. Yeah, my brother. I'm the younger brother too. My brother would be so shitty. Okay, so with this story, it's going to go into the next story that I want to talk about with just betting scandals. And so this is happening. The Shohei Ohtani thing is happening where, like, if you haven't read about that, I'm not even going to talk about that at all. Go and read up on it. Basically, one of Shohei Ohtani's interpreters was, like, millions of dollars stealing from him to pay back bookies for bets that he was making. And all these things are coming out with betting. And it's basically making people question the integrity of the game and saying, you know, I don't want to watch fucking sports if you're going to have players not putting themselves out of game. You're going to have the best baseball player in the world, people right next to him betting on games and shit. It makes the games look bad. It makes sports look bad. It makes it look untrustworthy, and it's not fun to watch. And with that, the next story I want to get into, the NCAA president announced today that he would like to ban betting. Let's see. Let me go back. NCAA president Charlie Baker urges states with legal. Some of these ads. I hate ads. NCAA president Charlie Baker urges states with legal wagering to ban prop bets on college athletes. So in the midst of March Madness, the NCAA is pushing for states with legal wagering on sporting events to ban prop bets on college athletes. And the president of the NCAA, basically in a post on X, this is what he said. So with sports betting on the rise, the NCAA is acting to protect student athletes from harassment and working to protect the integrity of the game. This week shows why it's so important. This week, obviously, just in that they're alluding to Shohei Ohtani and they're alluding to Shohei Ohtani and they're alluding to this Jonte Porter situation when they say this week shows why it's so important. Sports betting issues are on the rise across the country, with prop betting continuing to threaten the integrity of competition and leading to student athletes and professional athletes getting harassed. The NCAA has been working with states to deal with these threats, and many are responding by banning college prop bets. This week, we will be contacting officials across the country and states that will still allow these bets and ask them to join Ohio, Vermont, Maryland, and many others and remove college prop bets from all betting markets. The NCAA is drawing the line on sports betting to protect the student athletes and to protect the integrity of the game. Issues across the country these last several days show there is more work to be done. I honestly agree with this. I think for professionals, that's a different question. You're a professional, and it's just a different type of beast. But for college athletes, I think it's fair for them, like when they're on the game, to not have people shouting at them to make 2 more rebounds or to miss 2 more rebounds or shit like that. So I think that's a fair thing to ask for. Now, in turn with that, with the Jonte Porter situation, with the not the show time, because I don't know about to talk about that, but with the Jonte Porter situation, I'll say this. This is my thoughts on the whole betting situation and everything like that. You can't go on ESPN, Fox Sports Network, your favorite athletes, football, basketball, baseball, podcast, or whatever, without seeing an ad for a sportsbook, FanDuel, DraftKings, Prize Picks, all of them. And shout out to them because I know they're getting that bag out. And if you ever want to give money to a great journalist, I'll take it. But let's just be honest. They're putting betting in every single aspect of people's lives. They're taking people's money. They're making betting seem fun. You can bet on everything. It's easy to bet. So when things happen where we're able to fleece betting agencies, I mean, I guess for professional athletes who are already making a lot of money, maybe it looks worse. But like anytime I see the public or something happening where they're able to find out information and fleece these betting companies, I'm not mad at it because they're preying on the public 24/7. I couldn't imagine being 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and betting being illegal, because you're going to get a family members or your older homies like, let me borrow your social. I know that's a crazy thing to ask to borrow, but just to make this betting account, like, there's teenagers and people too young betting. There's people who are old enough to bet that aren't informed enough. Like, it's predatory. So it goes both ways. You want to give people the option to bet, and I believe people should have the option to bet, and you need to educate yourself. But when things happen and people fleece these betting companies, I'm not mad at it. So I guess I'll say that with that, but there is something going on with betting. It's such a big thing in our world now, and it is messing up the integrity of sports and the trust that you have in them. Everybody's probably seen the Netflix documentary that shows like where the NBA referees were basically like it's a Netflix documentary where NBA refs were basically like cheating for betting, and this was like for just regular bookies and shit. This was like in the 80s, 90s, before we had like this phone shit. Like, betting is changing the outlook of sports, and that's just a part of it. But the betting entities are gonna fleece the public every single fucking night. And stories, I guess, with this Jonte person, him specifically, maybe shouldn't do it, but all the other people that somehow found out and made this thing to DraftKings, I hope they fleeced the shit out of them that night. It's just me being honest. But that's my story. That's my two little betting stories that I have, and there's just gonna be more shit with that comes out 24/7. But I think it's interesting. Now, in the next story, I'm gonna just go over this for a little bit. Ice Cube offers Caitlin Clark to go to Big 3. You heard that right. Let's see. And I read like an article about it. I like the TMZ. I know that's crazy for someone who's like a self-proclaimed reporter, journalist, to say I like the TMZ article. I did, though. So we haven't heard from Caitlin Clark. Still, she basically, Ice Cube offered her $5 million to go and play for the Big 3. And Ice Cube basically made a bunch of tweets to it. I'm just actually going to do it that way. Ice Cube basically made a bunch of tweets, like basically saying his pitch on why he wants her in the league. And stop playing with me, bro. You know I want the, give me his Twitter. Pause. No Diddy. But he basically went on Twitter and like posted or said his pitch to get her there. So yeah, Caitlin Clark gets Blockbuster $5 million offer to play from Ice Cube's Big 3. So this is what he says. So we intended the offer to remain private while Caitlin Clark plays for the championship, but I won't deny that's now what's now already out there. Big 3 made a historic offer to Caitlin Clark. Why wouldn't we? Caitlin is a generational athlete who can achieve tremendous success in the Big 3. And he gets into the questions that everybody that I've seen today asking, like, why the fuck would she even go there? There's no reason she would. And the only reason I mention this story is because I maybe don't think she would, but I don't think it'd be a terrible idea if she did. It would be groundbreaking, legendary. She would make a lot of money. It's not during the NBA season, but that's why I'm mentioning it. I don't think it's just like, oh, just get this out of my mind. She would never do it. The skeptics laughed when we made Nancy Lieberman the first female coach of a men's pro team, and she won the championship in her first year. Then Lisa Leslie won it all in year 2. With our offer, Caitlin Clark can make history and break down even more barriers for women athletes. Obviously, the Big 3, no one thinks of the Big 3 as the NBA. Like, it's not the same. The barrier breaking thing, you're pushing it a little bit. I think the point gets in a little bit later. I like America's women athletes should not be forced to spend their off season playing in often dismal and dubious foreign countries just to make ends meet. This is a valid reason. A lot of WNBA players go overseas to play basketball in the off season. Caitlin Clark going to the Big 3 where it's not going to be as physical. I guarantee they're going to have things set up for her to be the star, and she's basically going to just be playing show basketball. No disrespect, Ice Cube, to the Big 3. I know it's real basketball, and, no disrespect, but she's going to play Big 3 basketball to get $5 million. Now, for Caitlin Clark, it's interesting because she's going to be one of the people that during offseason for the WNBA, she's still going to get that bag. But it's an interesting idea. You just can't offer it to anyone. It has to be someone who's like that, and Caitlin Clark is like that. But the reasoning of, hey, why would you go to an overseas country for your off season with dismal and dubious foreign countries just to make ends meet when you can come play over here in the Big 3 in America and it's not going to be as competitive and you're going to make $5 million? That's good to me. And they should have more than just one professional option in the U.S. At a time when American pro sports leagues are being infiltrated by Autocratic, anti-woman regimes such as Qatar, our path-breaking offer to Caitlin Clark demonstrates the Big Three now offers a choice for athletes. This one gets into some shit that I don't really want to get into. I think that second option is the best reason. It's $5 million to play in a league where everything is going to be set up to you and they want you to win. So I don't think Caitlin, I'll say this, I don't think Caitlin Clark would do it, but I think it's an interesting offer. It's very good news. It's very good publicity for the Big Three. And I think I'd be surprised if Caitlin Clark did it, but if Caitlin Clark did it, I don't think she'd be dumb. I don't think it would be a terrible decision to go make $5 million to just play 3-on-3 basketball for fucking Ice Cube. That's all. Everyone that I've talked to when they read this just laughed it off and said, why would they do this? This is either he's going to offer this to somebody else. This is just the beginning, or there's something. This is interesting. That's interesting to me. That's interesting to me. Those are my sports stories. We talked about the Baltimore Bridge. We talked about the Diddy update. Just something quick that I want to get into that's also interesting to me. I'm not going to give any opinions on this. I just want anyone who is watching Guarantee News to get this. Trump Truth Social Media worth $6 billion. Okay. Trump's net worth reportedly soars to $6.5 billion after media company stock drops. Trump's net worth has in recent days shot up by more than $4 billion, bringing his current total to about $6.5 billion, according to Bloomberg, which tracks the 500 wealthiest people in the world. His social media company, known as Trump Media and Technology Group, completed a merger with a shell companies known as DWAC. You guys can't even see this, my bad. According DWAC. This is a article on CNBC. Don't want to say anything with this other than it is in fucking sane how he drops a social media platform and in one day it is worth more than $1 billion. It's insane to me. The person watching right now, if it's D Hicks trading, my stock connoisseur, I would love to hear how this happens. If it's not, D Hicks, I will be contacting you soon. But I need someone with knowledge of stocks to tell me how Trump dropped Truth Social Media like on Tuesday, and in one day it's worth $4 billion, and not like 48 hours ago he was supposed to give like $300 million for a civil suit in New York. The civil suit of $300 million was shortened to $125 million, and he just $125 million, and he just dropped a social media like a day later that's worth $4 billion. When I say these things out loud or when I read these things, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. This man Trump is unbeatable, bro. I've never seen someone do so much crazy shit and continuously get away with it. It's hard not to be impressed. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But bro, if you think Trump's going to jail, if you think Trump is paying a whole bunch of money for these cases that he's losing, you don't need to be Nostradamus to know that when November comes around, Trump won't be in a jail cell. All this talk about if Trump, does he have the money and the funds to run in the advertising space? I'm not going to say who will win. I'm not going to get into election coverage. There will be a lot of time for that months from now. What I am saying, all these news articles, you turn on every other story. Oh, Trump is sued for this. Trump, it's looking bad for Trump. Trump. Every single time he comes out of it unscathed, and we just go to the next one. Again, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to come on this platform because I do respect journalism integrity and just throw a whole bunch of sauce on shit. But again, I've said this 3 times already this episode. I also don't want to look at what's happening right in front of me and try to things are connected and things happen for a reason, and I don't want to ignore that as a journalist, and I at least want to just ask the questions of what's going on, so maybe the people who are watching can hopefully ask those questions as well. I'm not saying anything's happened, I'm asking questions. That's what I said with the Baltimore Bridge situation, that's what I said about the Diddy situation, and that's what I said about this Trump situation. Is I do not want to, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, nor do I believe in conspiracy theory, and I don't believe in saying things without having truth, but I do believe in asking questions and looking at two things being put together and saying that. And this show isn't meant to be journalistic to the core, it's supposed to be journalistic in nature. But yeah, Trump's Truth Social being worth like $4 billion in 24 hours is pretty fucking interesting to me. That's all I want to say to that. Maybe I'll come with more pods. Maybe I'll talk about more of that in a later episode, and maybe I'll feel more confident to make stand up, not even accusations, but guesses as to what's going on. The next story that I want to get into is one that I think talks about the state of journalism right now, why people don't trust journalists, and why you're either on one side or the other with everything, and there's no room for the middle ground and just telling the facts, which is something that which is why I love journalism in theory, but it's not. And it is the story of Ronna McDaniel, who is basically, she was the former chair of the Republican National Committee. She's basically a fucking big ass Republican reporter. That's what you need to think of. That's all you need to know about her for this story, Ronna McDaniel. And bear with me, I already have an article that I like, that I want to read, that I put up. I've been streaming for way longer. NPR article. NPR, I like NPR, and for this conversation, I do want to say NPR is left-leaning. I like to think of someone that I look at all types of media news outlets, but just with this specific story, I think it's important to say NPR is a left-leaning news source. So basically, this is what happened. And this is Republican National Committee, RNC chair, Ronna McDaniel dropped as an NBC contributor following the outcry. I have a good sense of the story why I don't need to read the article if you want to read it, kind of, but basically, this is what happened. This woman was hired to be a guest contributor. Basically, she was going to write. She was probably going to do some shows, guest appear on some shows for NBC, and she's a Republican. NBC offered her 2 years, $300,000 a year, something like that. Immediately, it was met with swift backlash from NBC. It was met with swift backlash from NBC's writers, reporters, their newsroom. Like, multiple people were saying it. NBC News contributor has been dropped from the network following public backlash. So everybody in NBC, again, which is a left-leaning news company, basically said, get her out of here. She's terrible. We don't want her here. She shouldn't be in this news. She's a Trump supporter. She has to be kicked out. And NBC basically backtracked, took away and took away her offer. And the thing that I want to see with this, and I want to get into this, let me see. Well, let's see. So let's see. The own talent. So NBC News contributor has been dropped from the network following public backlash, including from the network's own talent, according to an internal email sent to staffers by NBC chairman Cesar Conde. So they dropped this woman. NBC made the offer to her because, like I said, NBC is on the left, and they wanted to give another opinion. They wanted to do what news is basically about. They said, here's this famous, basically Republican. Let's give her a voice on our news channel so it's not just all left-leaning information, and we can kind of have a cohesiveness and a balance. Everybody that works in NBC, I'm not going to say their names, but everybody that works in NBC, the big names, they have morning shows. If you go to NBC at 8 in the morning, they probably sent an email to somebody or on their show. Yes. Thank you. I was yapping. They're doing this so you can't hear the real. And that's basically why I want to bring it in. I don't want to just mention this random white woman for no reason, but I think a lot of the times people don't trust news anymore. People are either shouting and repeating crazy shit that the news says. It's because the news is either left or right, and it's trying to make you feel something. It's never just, here are the facts, here's what's going on, and you make your own opinion. And them firing her, and I guess I should put some context in this. The reason the backlash backlash against her. She's a Trump supporter, and she was also saying that when Trump was saying that that the election was a fraud and that he shouldn't have lost and there was a conspiracy, she was supporting that claim and saying there was something fishy with the last election. And everybody knows that Trump saying the election was a fraud is what led to January 6th. So people saying, you're supporting that almost caused an insurrection. You're dangerous. You shouldn't be around on news. Okay. I'm not going to get into anything with the election and if it was weird or anything happened to that. But all I'm going to say is mainly everything I've seen, she's just a Trump supporter. NBC, one of the biggest news companies, you can go anywhere in the world and say NBC and people are going to recognize it. They won't let a Republican, Trump, the way I'm seeing it, be in their newsroom because she's a Republican. And again, I think that is just a real problem with news nowadays, is where you can never just tell the news. You can never say, hey, I'm in the middle. Or you can never say, hey, I don't agree with some things Republicans do, and I don't agree with some things Democrats do, and I agree with some things Republicans do. Or you can never have a media outlet where you have strong Democrats and strong Republicans who are respectful of each other reporting on the news in the same building. And that's why you can't trust shit. It's either left-leaning, real. I can't think of a news out, and I read a lot of news. I watch a lot of news. Of course, I don't want to think I'm like a genius about it in no way, shape, or form. I don't really know a national news syndicate or corporation that I trust and say I can believe is giving the news. I have to look at multiple articles, multiple things from everything, and I think it's kind of sad that this woman that was offered a deal to go to NBC and report and add a different side to NBC, which is a very left-leaning place, gets fired. And the last thing I want to say, as a journalist who wants to make a lot of money and maybe potentially could work with companies, I hope she sues the fuck out of NBC. And again, if anything comes out about this where she's fucked up and maybe they're right, okay, I reserve the right to be wrong, but I hope she sues the fuck out of NBC. I hope she gets her bag. And I hope she starts a podcast or a show, and I hope she's good at talking. Just because I don't think you should silence people. Now, if she's saying crazy shit, all right then. But all I saw was she was supporting Trump, and she said the election might have been a little fishy. And I'm not saying I think it is, but I am saying that those two things aren't enough for you to say she can't work at NBC if she's a good, renowned, known journalist, which she is. That's all I wanted to say with that. It's just interesting, and it goes to why people don't trust the news. All right, let's move on to my movies and shows. I've been streaming for an hour and 11 minutes, way longer than I planned to. Let's move on to our next story. So there is going to be a Quiet on Set new episode. They're making a new Quiet on Set episode that's dropping on September 7th, and I have this story put up already as well. All right, look at me, look at that pre-production. All right, Quiet on Set will launch a 5th episode called Breaking the Silence with new Drake Bell interview and more. So it's a new Drake Bell interview, and I've kind of read through this already. April 7th, it's going to stream on Max. The new episode of the unscripted series detailing the alleged on-set treatment, the Amanda Show, star Drake and Josh. It's going to have a new star, Brian Herney, Tracy Brown, as well as new interview all that cast member Shane Loynes, who will be interviewed by journalist Soledad O'Brien. When I read this, it kind of put it brought the questioning side of me up again. Interview by journalist Soledad O'Brien. I looked her up. I don't even need to do it for the stream. She's basically just a journalist. It seems like this to me is gonna be like reunion style, like going over how big the first 4 episodes were, and even this article saying to it like, episode 5 will be building off the revelations explored in our first 4 episodes and include a conversation led with O'Brien on where the industry can go from here. According to ID, the first 4 episodes of Quiet on Set have been watched by 16 million viewers across cable network ID and streamers Max and Discovery since the first 2 episodes premiere, blah, blah, blah. The show has reached the largest odds. Like, they're talking about how many people are watching it, the audience. The only thing I want to say with this is those 4 episodes were brutal. Everyone has been on Twitter talking about them. From those 4 episodes, there have been hella conversations of other shit, other stuff of information putting out. Everybody knows how fucked up what happened to Drake Bell is. Why are you making a 5th episode? Like, there is a fine line between telling people about what's going on and making money and promoting pain. Now, again, Drake Bell's doing the interview, and maybe it can be getting that voice out to more people. And again, Drake Bell is doing the interview, so maybe he wants this, and he wants that bigger voice on what's going on to him. But to me, I didn't even watch all 4 episodes. I watched 3. I did a review of it like on one of my streams. Go back and watch it. But I don't see the need for a 5th episode past just trying to milk the cow, squeeze as much juice as you can get out of this, and just, it feels now like it's more about views and money and revenue more than popping the lid on stuff going on in Hollywood. And I will be happy on April like 9th or 10th to come back and say I'm wrong, only if this interview with this journalist, what's her name? She's interviewing, and again, this is why I say I think it's going to be like reunion style. You know, like after the show, everybody gets on the show and they talk about what happened on the show live, and they give some more reunion style because they're saying like a live interview. But again, the only thing that would make me come back and be like, oh, I was wrong, I shouldn't have done this take, is if this Soledad O'Brien is asking real hard questions, we get some names on some new people. I want facts. I just don't want more pain, more random things, because we already know that's happening. Give me some pause, meaty shit, no Diddy. Give me more real shit, or just leave it, because at this point, you're just promoting pain. Man, they just want some cheese. Drake messed up all of this, and they just keep going. It's kind of exactly. It's I don't like it at this point, and I feel like it's going on. Yeah, I think I already studied and made my point. That's what I want to say with that. I'm gonna watch it just because I feel like I should watch it to be able to report on it. But like the fan in me, like if I didn't like care about doing like the show all the time, I wouldn't watch it. I didn't watch the 4th episode because I didn't need to. I got the idea, and that's I guess my point is we get the idea. We don't need a 5th episode to going on all this. Unless niggas is gonna mention some people in the Diddy case, mention some people on Disney Channel, mention some people on Cartoon Network. Like, and I hope there's no people to name, but unless you're gonna do some real shit, which of course they're not gonna do because it's money and TV and it's Max and ID and corporations. But unless you're gonna do some fried shit, bro, you can keep it, because at this point it's doing too much. And this is where I'm gonna end the stream off on this last story, is this movies and shows. Hulu and Disney Plus are combining together, and basically like the way that they're saying it is that people that have Disney Plus will be able to see the full Hulu experience on Disney Plus. Only thing I want to say with that is more business. As I like get older and look at stuff more, like I feel like I'm more able to read the tea leaves about what's going on in my head, but I haven't quite gotten the art of describing it and saying it out loud. But like the conversation about each streaming cable service just being cable, I remember about like I was in college like 4 or 5 years ago. So I was probably in high school or just getting into college. But like, I remember them saying, oh, every single streaming service is going to turn into cable news. You're just going to have to pay for cable news. And now every day I look up, all HBO Max is HBO and fucking, what's the one channel where they used to play Cinemax? I was about to move. All HBO Max is like Cinemax and HBO combined. Stars and Hulu have a pack. Disney and, bro, all these niggas have packs. Oh, you buy this for 3 months. You get all these for 3 months. It's basically cable. You can't watch shit unless you have all of them now. And before, with cable, you could buy one thing and get all the cable channels. Now it's looking, they're all combining. You can buy one thing and get all these fucking things. And it just fucking sucks, bro. Every time you watch a movie, there's that. It's on that one streaming service you don't have. It's just annoying. Everything's money. Everything's fucking business. And that's just the world. There's nothing wrong with that. And I want to be in the world of business. And that's like, and I want to understand it and be able to operate in it. But like, as just like a regular 24-year-old who's not yet rich, that is just like looking at these things and like watching shit and like doing things, it just fucking sucks that like, golly, you got to pay for everything for no fucking reason. Yeah, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, whenever you can, definitely tune in. But That's all I got for today, man. I talked about a lot today. This is the longest stream I have. Diddy case and everything I talked about. There's going to be more that comes from it. Pause. Diddy case. There's going to be more people that comes out. The Baltimore Bridge. I think there was something interesting about that. I feel like there's going to be more that comes. Like, there's a lot going on in the first 3 months of 2024, and I can say as a fucking journalist, as a reporter, I hate seeing it, but I'm honored that I get to cover it because it's crazy as shit. But yeah, a lot of this shit is sad. But thank you for watching. If you watched a second of this, 2 minutes of this, or the whole episode, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Like and subscribe. I'll be back on Friday. I think I'm going to do like Friday afternoon, so not at 8 p.m., but I'll figure that out. Have a good night. Be safe.